Margaret and Mary Ellen, was this transition exciting for you?
You know what? I couldn't hear everybody.
You could hear me though, could you?
It's recording? Okay.
I could hear you, but I didn't hear anything anybody else said.
Okay,
You may
we're
not have
gonna
come
start
through.
the meeting now.
Project more.
I need to
It
connect
is,
more.
I think so.
I have the recording right here.
hi everybody on Zoom, if you can't hear me, please let me know, and I'm sorry you have my back.
It's really low.
Welcome to everyone. Let's move down.
Can this move in?
No, I know.
No.
It's attached. You want to switch seats?
Can move.
Yeah.
Can you hear me here?
You all are ready for
It's really.
Responding.
Okay.
Hey, Margaret, can you hear me from here?
You project better than I.
Margaret, not yet.
Probably hear me.
It may be that mic is better.
You get that mic?
Can you hear me now? Hello?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
That's right.
Gave you a thumbs up.
Sorry about that. Okay, welcome everybody. My name is Julie Reyes, the new chair for Community Board 8. I just would like to just start off very quickly, round table, everyone just introduce themselves. Just your name, please, and if you want to say if you're chairing what committee, it'll be nice.
David Gelman, Chair of the Budget Committee, member of Parks, Traffic and Transportation, Land Use, and LRE. You talk. I'm running out of time. Sylvia.
Sylvia Alexander, Chair of Education, Libraries, and Cultural Affairs Committee, and I serve on other committees.
Julia Gomez, Chair of Youth.
Ozio, Chair of Economic Development.
Doris Folter, former board chair, member of Public Safety, Land Use, and E&S.
Vendor, Chair of the Special Committee on the Hudson River Greenway, and member of several other committees.
Hi, everyone. I'm a returning board member, Joy Campbell, pre-chair. I'm a member of the Economic Development Committee again, and I'm joining Ed on the Public Safety Committee.
I'm Scott Croppinger, I'm the treasurer, and I am on the Public Safety Committee as well.
Travis, I'm Chair of Parks, and I'm on Environment and Sanitation and the Hudson River Greenway.
Ed Green, Chair of Public Safety Committee.
Marty Warpuff, Chair of Law, Rules, and Ethics.
Charles Merdler, Chair of Land Use.
And I'm Farah Keel Rubin, the District Manager of Community Board 8. I'm Kelly Buford, Chair of Traffic and Transportation.
And,
Margaret and Mary Ellen.
and we still have 3 more people. Mrs. Mertler. And, name?
I'm just a resident of Riverdale. I've lived here almost my whole life, and I just want to see, I just want to listen in on the committee hearing.
My name is Debbie Allen. I've been living in
I mentioned Mrs. Mertler. And now the gallery, not the gallery, the Zoom, how do we unmute them?
Hi, I'm Mary Ellen Gibbs, Community Board member. I'm on Traffic and Transportation Committee and Public Safety.
You, Community Board member.
Hi, I'm Margaret Della. I'm the Secretary of the Community Board. I'm also Chair of the Special Committee on Racial Equity, and I recently joined Health and Hospitals. Oh, God. I knew the other one. Now I've forgotten it, sorry.
Jessica?
Hello, everybody. Yeah, sure. My name is Jessica Sosa. I'm a new community board member. I'm in the Housing Committee, the Land Use Committee, and the...
Hello, where is the meeting? I'm at 100, I'm at room 100.
That's Rabbi Kathleen.
Oh, I'm coming.
Noel?
Okay. I'm knocking on the door. The bell doesn't work, and I've been knocking on the door. I've been knocking on the door for about 10 minutes or so.
Oscar.
No, Bob Kaplan, I think, just showed up. But Noel, we don't,
Here's the seat there. Here's one.
Here's one, Bob.
So you made it,
I was sort of hanging out there for,
that's okay, you made it right on time. We're just finishing up introductions here. So if you-
Could Jessica repeat her introduction? I couldn't hear
You
it.
remember? Well, then introduce yourself and
I
then.
have, thank you, your meeting's
No.
over. Your name?
My name is
Come
Oscar
on, your mic.
Martinez.
Hello.
Oscar Martinez. Oscar like the grouch, but I'm a little nicer.
And Rabbi?
how you doing?
Bob Kaplan,
The, Health and Hospitals Committee.
Thank you. Okay, I thank everybody for coming, and we will still try to maintain the hour and a half-ish to get out. We'll approve, and we start the meeting at 7:25. I just meant to state the time. We'll go towards the executive minutes for the June 7th. Approve the minutes.
Motion to adopt.
Okay. Okay, and then I'll go on with the chair.
We need the attendance, roll call before the vote on the minutes.
Do you?
point.
Okay, so then we will do the roll call. So we'll switch that
Oh, we
around.
have it down on to number 6, right there.
Well, if you're gonna approve the
Roll
minutes.
call, I am sorry, I have to grab the sheet from out here, and I'll be right back.
You don't have to amend the agenda to do this, right?
Take a vote, yeah. Anyone do this?
Well,
Are we still recording?
yeah.
Okay, Julie Reyes.
Here.
Sergio Villaverde.
One
He is on hybrid.
He hasn't turned on. He's trying to go onto mine either, also.
Margaret Della.
Here. Thank you, Farah.
Scott Cruppinger. Doris Colson. Ramdat Singh. Nick Fazio.
Here.
Julia Alexander. Dr. Robert Sanuzzi. Rabbi Bob Kaplan. Charles Modler.
Right behind.
Martin Wolpoff.
Right in front of him.
Deb Travis. Ed Green.
Present.
Kelly Buford. Present. Julia Gomez. Dr. Julia Gomez, excuse me. David Gelman.
Present.
And Bob Bender.
Here.
Is there anyone else? I think that's everyone.
Okay, so then we can go back to approving June 7th executive minutes.
Moved and seconded.
Okay, thank you both. Okay, so then I'll move on.
Anyone opposed? Opposed.
Okay, anyone opposed? Any abstentions? It's unanimous. Thank you. Now I can go on to the chair's report. My report will be kind of brief. To bring you up to speed on a few things, as everyone knows, we're shorthanded at the office. So if the chairs can do as much as they can to help the staff out, and maybe your reports that you're going to hand in, maybe send them to Margaret for the executive minutes, if you're making a report at the exec. The new format for the exec is hopefully that all the chairs will have something to report, even if it's just the date of your next meeting. I know you've had like very easygoing meetings. I want it to stay easygoing, but if all the chairs can report at least the minimum, the date of your next meeting. And when it is time to report, please don't let us know what's in your minutes. We can read them, or we can attend the committee. Just give us anything new. If you have nothing new to say, that's fine. Just give us the date of your next meeting. And since most of the chairs will be reporting, if we could limit the chair's report, the committee chair's report, to 3 minutes. This would be great, but 3 minutes is what the general public gets. Okay. with the hybrid meetings, and I know you're going to go into that at your committee meeting, right? The hybrid, just a reminder for the hybrids, if anybody wants to participate via Zoom, to please email either the committee chair or the chair if you're missing a committee meeting or an exec or general board meeting.
I would like to be in hybrid, you need approval.
Yes, you need the approval, and it has to be extraordinary circumstances, and they could look on the document to find out the rules are, procedures. I will be attending many committee meetings as I am able to, and when I do, I'm going to take the liberty of just attending and reserve my right to vote and not vote at any committee meetings. Reserve them for the general board meeting. An update on the new office built on in the Bronx. Unfortunately, we don't have that great news in regard to the new office. It seems that we may have been given a location that is not zoned for our purposes. So we're following up on it. We've been in touch with DCAS. We've had a few messages into them and they haven't responded. So hopefully.
Far from the court.
How many times have you run into that, Laura?
So if you see a location that you think may be suitable for us, let us know. I know Sergio found a location, and as soon as we're able to, we're going to forward the information. It's in a nice central location, but still, we don't know if it's suitable for us totally. But if you see any locations in the area, let us know. But so far, it's not looking good for the location that we had in mind.
Residential zoning, and we need to be in commercial zoning.
The ground floor was residential.
We're not a community.
We're not, right. You can be a community space, but we're not considered a community organization yet.
And it took them all this time to find that out?
The landlord stated he was gonna be able to change, but he came to find out he cannot. Yeah, he can change the CO. So Laura and myself, and Luke went to Department of Buildings where they confirmed they would not be able to do that. So that's where we're at the moment.
In a pinch, really felt strongly about this site. We could go to the BSA. I have a hunch it's more than that. I have a hunch. Landlord and DCAS, they tanked this one.
Possibly. Go ahead, Dave. I thought you were gonna say something. Okay. Okay. During the summer, we sent out a support letter to the Van Cortlandt Park Alliance on the support for the Enslaved Peoples Project. The Alliance had been supported in the past by Community Board 8. In regards to this project, I believe Bob Bender and Laura Worth will have more knowledge about them, but the board gave them their continued support over the summer.
I believe, Julie, they were looking for some foundation money,
Yes,
and, they needed the support from the community board.
it was time sensitive, so that's why the letter was sent out. I saw that they had support in the past. It was for the National Endowment of the Arts that they needed the grant for. There was also testimony for the Public Design Commission to approve the submission by DEP and DPR for the Tibbetts Brook Lighting and Putnam Greenway project. Another issue Bob Bender has a lot of information with.
It knows quite a lot about it. As does Laura.
But quite a few people testified. and they were approved.
Yeah, that's strong support from the Public Design Commission.
As a segue, tomorrow at 12:45 p.m., there will be a walking tour of the Metro North property by Karen Argenti's group. I shouldn't say her group. By the Bronx Council for Environmental Quality. If anyone is interested in doing a walkthrough with the organization,
They walked in.
they're going to start at West 230th Street in the Major Deegan, towards Bailey Avenue southbound, to 225th Street, over the overpass onto Exterior Street. Purpose of the tour is to identify the property, its use, and alternative potential in connection with the Harlem River Greenway. And we can send you an information if anyone's interested, and email you the information.
Or will, I'm glad to know about this. Will there be access to the MTA property, or is it just gonna be walking along Bailey Avenue?
It says walking tour of the Metro North property.
As I understand it from John, no direct access to the property itself, it'll be just looking over.
At 230 and at 225?
Yeah.
Okay,
You want me to email you?
please,
Okay.
please, I will try to go.
Anybody else? Okay, just a brief update on the shelter on Broadway. That the Controller's Office has registered and approved the contract for the shelter of 140 males. Contract runs until June 30th, 2055. And it was approved for the contract of $290 million. And I'm sure there will be further discussions. Okay. 6661 Broadway.
Just below the Yonkers border.
1 block from the city line.
Next to Van Cortlandt Park. 6661 Broadway. Okay. The cricket. As most of you know, and those who don't know, the National Council of Cricket Association is looking to build a temporary stadium in Van Cortlandt Park. Quite a few board members received information on it. We got together and had a special meeting over the summer on July 20th. Prior to the meeting, a letter was sent to the mayor advising that we heard of the proposal. We invited him to the special meeting where over 160 people attended. The majority were opposed to the cricket stadium being put up. We've contacted the Cricket Association after the meeting, gave them a synopsis of what happened at the meeting, the opposition to it, and invited them back. We have not heard from them since Deb and I did a joint letter to them, and we have not heard back from them since. The issue will continue in the Parks Department.
When did you write that letter?
Wrote it August 7th. It went to the ICC, the International Cricket, August 7th. To the mayor, we wrote the letter to the mayor July 18th. July 18th, we wrote the letter to the mayor. July 20th, we had the special meeting. August, and then in the interim, after the meeting, the cricket people did come to the office and they spoke with us. They heard the concerns. They said that they were wanting to work with the community, and we recapped with a letter on August 7th.
You write to see, now been a month, they haven't responded. Should we assume their non-response that they have withdrawn for any interest in the proposal? They'll get a response, I guarantee you.
How about we take it that you have no interest, since you haven't responded?
Right.
Exactly.
They had the, did you attend? What the elected officials had, at Van Cortlandt Park? Yeah.
And the elected officials have received no responses from the city either. We are in good company.
So if you get that letter out, I guarantee you, you will get a very fast response.
Sarah, can we make sure that the information on like those press conferences and all that make it to the whole board? Because I was not aware of it until afterward, and I would have gone. Oh, and it was a public thing.
They did invite, the chair to go and
Right.
speak, so we did, send our parks chair
Mhm.
because that's.
No, quite appropriate.
And also, we did say no one else could speak because we haven't voted on the issue. But yes, I will definitely let people know that it's happening.
Excellent.
It was very last minute.
And because we hadn't taken a position as a committee or as a board, I didn't feel that it was right for me to stand next to elected official opposing something that the board has not taken a stand on. So Deb as Parks Committee Chair and Nick as, Economics, I felt were appropriate, you know, but I hear
I didn't want to
what you're saying.
represent us,
Yeah.
I just wanted,
Yeah.
I would just
Yeah.
want to attend.
Yeah.
As a member of the community
Yeah.
and the community board.
Yeah.
Also, just for the record, I did not.
I threatened to tie her up.
I was there, I did not speak.
Right, thank you for attending. Oh, okay, so let me see. Farah and I, we met with the, and we will follow up with the letter and also invite him to the Parks Committee because we did let them know, the International Cricket Association, when they were here, that we were following it up with the Parks Committee. So they've been invited to that meeting. They will be invited again, and we wanted them to be speakers at the meeting. We definitely will get that out. Farah and I met with the new captain of the 50th Precinct, Captain Ryan Pierce. Gave him a few of our concerns in his precinct, and he's looking forward to meeting everyone at the board. Okay.
What happened to
Is it the new CEO at this?
Yes.
Intern.
It's interim.
It's interim.
They're actually interviewing, them tonight, which we couldn't be at. But he does have hopes to be the full acting,
The captain who was just there, Captain Soares, she was,
transferred.
She went to the borough.
We are very sorry.
You went to what?
The borough.
The borough command.
Mm.
I met with him.
Was
I have a
with Chief
question.
Gurley today, and, he referred to him as interim, and
Jessica has a question.
did not give any indication that there was any decisions being made.
Yes, I just want to say I haven't, I remember seeing the email regarding the proposal, but I hadn't seen the minutes regarding the opposition towards that project. Is there some place with that we can find them?
Minutes are gonna be posted shortly. We're finalizing that from the July meeting. As soon as it's
Oh.
posted, you will get it.
Members
Is
received
there-
something during the summer, a recap of the meeting.
Is that available because the meeting was recorded?
It's hard to understand you. You're very garbled.
He's asking if.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
That's gonna be the minutes which you will receive, yes. It will be sent to you and all the board members and posted to
Oh.
everyone.
Is there a video?
okay, is there a deadline for that being available?
It's on the,
It's on YouTube.
if you go onto the board website, you look at the minutes, it should have a link to the meeting, or else
Go on the
YouTube.
board website, there's a YouTube link, yes, directly to our channel.
And just real quickly, we met with the 50th Precinct Captain Ryan. We had a few events during the summer. We had National Night Out. Ryan
Ryan
Pierce.
Pierce.
Ryan Pierce. No, okay. Okay. National Night Out was attended, by a few of the board members, and Farah and the staff attended. We went to the Borough President's office for a meeting, and we had to vote on the carbon neutrality of City of Yes, which is being taken up by the Land Use Committee. We had to abstain since we haven't taken a position as a board. Farah and I attended the orientation last night for the new members. Time I ever heard the BP speak, she was incredible, you know. And then there was also an event at North Riverdale Fair and Marble Hill Family Day. And thank you for all the members and staff who attended. The people, I have to say, the people already know who Farah is. As soon as we walked into Marble Hill, they knew exactly who she was. So that's a good sign. So we'll be going out a lot more. Okay, we will be meeting, David, Farah, and I, with the community council members in our district regarding the budget needs. And on a sadder note, some of the seasoned members may remember Dr. Martin Gluck passed away, past board member. Okay. And next meeting, Tuesday, we'll be starting at 6:30, the general board meeting, since we're having awards presentation. And that's it for my report.
Quick question.
Sure.
You mentioned the cricket people being invited to the meeting.
Yes.
Are you referring to the ICC or the local league people who have a very strong opinion, or both?
The International Cricket Council. We're
Okay.
speaking of them and the mayor's office. They're both invited to come. The mayor's office was at the meetings, but they did not speak. They spoke on the side, but they wouldn't speak at the meetings. So if they come to another meeting, I'm sure they'll just sit there and listen, but will not
The
speak.
ICC.
No, the mayor's office.
The mayor's office.
The ICC, actually, I have to admit, was very talkative, and they said a lot, and they appeared to want to work with the community.
Okay.
Because they met with the mayor's office, I can't fault them all the way, because if the mayor's office is guiding you one way, and they don't know any different. So, but the fact that they didn't respond is also another indication that maybe they did know what the mayor was, guiding them through.
The Cricket League people, are they being invited to parks or whatever?
Right now, we've been really focusing on people who, and we're dealing with a boy. We'll be keeping a chair warm for the ICC.
Right.
And then if the ICC agrees to come, then absolutely the cricket folks and everybody will be invited, because we want them to speak to the ICC. We want them to, kind of get the information out.
Madam Chair.
I'm sorry.
Could you tell me again when the walking tour is?
It's tomorrow at 12:45,
I do
Thursday.
need to mention, it was by invitation only, but I'm sure
I spoke
we
with,
can
no, I
have
spoke with Bob
members of the
Snoozy.
committee. Okay.
I wouldn't, no, I'm crazy, but not that crazy.
It's not a public tour, it's an invitation only
Yeah,
tour.
but Bob Snoozy did say that I may invite the people. Okay, so I'll send both of you guys any other questions? Okay, so then I will turn it over to the treasurer's report.
Madam Chair, okay, so on the screen, is the first treasurer's report for this fiscal year. Starting out with item 1, our total budget this year is $261,432. That's generally broken up into 2 broad categories. Services, which is basically our staff payroll, and other than personal services, which is the funding that we use to buy materials and supplies that supports the office throughout the year. As you can see there, it's around $31,000. Table 1.1 breaks it down into the OTPS category, into various spending codes. Over the summer, I met with our DM and our chair to discuss how best to break out this funding into the codes in order to best accommodate the office needs. And as part of Addendum A, see what we did, if you want to just scroll down to that, Farrell, addendum A is our proposed breakdown. I think it's the attachment.
It's further down. Let's see.
We discussed how best to meet the needs of the office based on the OTPS that we received this year, and this is what we came up with. As part of our task this month is to get the board to approve this. A few highlights, we want to put a lot of the money into Object Code 100, which is our general spending category, because that's where most of our expenses lie. We don't anticipate spending a lot of money on office furniture this year. We bought a lot last year, so that's only $140. We need some money for advertising with respect to the open community coordinator position, so that's $750. The bulk of the money is in our general Object Code 499, which is like a holding category that the board likes to have, just as basically a cushion in case of any unforeseen expenses that come up throughout the year. There you see the breakdown. Going back to that's going to be that resolution is going to be presented to the board. I don't want to read the language itself. It's been emailed to you, but it's basically saying, whereas the treasurer and the district manager, community board 8 prepared an operating budget for the board's expenses of fiscal year 2024, be it resolved that the community board 8 approves the below operating budget for fiscal year 24 in order to further support the work of the community board office. Going back to the report itself, the 1.3 shows encumbered funds. That's basically monies that have been spent but just hasn't been processed yet. That should read 12309, not 129. Not much. We just started the year. And finally, rent and energy detail. We don't have any control of this, but we like to keep it here for everyone's reference.
Just a note, 40B.
You don't vote.
Right.
Just a note for you and Farah, 40B, do it phone expenses. It's now OTI.
You're right. Yeah, we should fix that. Yeah, it's called OTI now, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Big red letters.
What's now?
That's what it's called now, the Office of Technology and Information. Yeah.
We always
Well, don't do
they
it.
called it, don't do it.
We'll move on. That's it? Scott, is that it?
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Really thank you, because I know you worked hard on that back and forth. Okay, the district manager's report?
Hi. Hello, everyone. My name is Farah Peel-Rubin. I am the district manager. I'm relatively new to the position. I started at the beginning of the summer. It's been a very busy summer, so I no longer believe you when you say summer is not as busy. It's very busy, but I'm learning a lot. I have been making it my goal to learn all the different aspects of the staff as well as myself, and learning all the ins and outs of the job so I can supervise correctly. So that's been taking a lot of my time. I've done, as Julie has already mentioned, 3 community events, and definitely had a lot of fun meeting the community stakeholders in the area and seeing our fellow board members. I have been working closely, as Julie said, on the new office space, and we're going to be working very hard to locate a space that we can pursue and move into eventually. I have also spent my summer going to several sites throughout the district that can host our board meetings. I've had a lot of great meetings, a lot of great site visits. We're going to start with our first meeting at the Ethical Culture Fieldston School, and they have a great facility. It can really satisfy all our needs for hybrid meetings. So, and I am meeting with others to, that have to be able to accommodate our needs for hybrid meetings. Also, last night, as Julie said, it was a fun evening. We got to meet our new board members. We have 12 new members. We met 6 of them last night. We're meeting a couple more today, which is great, and we got to be part of the swearing-in ceremony. So we look forward to working with them. And Also, very importantly, we have to fill the community coordinator position. So I have posted and worked on, advertising to get people to to send in their resumes. Right now, it's already on the city, New York City career site. It's on our website. It's on our social media pages. It's on Facebook. It's also going to be, as of next week, in the Riverdale Press, also in the Norwood News, and we're working on getting a translation for El Diario to post in there as well. I will be very busy. I've gotten lots of resumes, so I am sorting through those, and we'll be interviewing shortly. But again, if anyone you know, or if anyone seems like a great fit, or someone who can handle that position, please have them apply. It's on our website. They could click on the link to apply. And I'm thinking also, I think that's most of what I want to say. I do want to request, again, I have a district service cabinet meeting coming up September 15th, so I have asked you if you have any pressing issues you want me to bring up. Some of you have. If anyone else does, especially after some of your meetings, just let me know, and we'll bring them up, and then I will send you the minutes afterwards. And that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. And we don't have any committee resolutions since we don't vote here.
Oh, we vet resolutions and turn them back if necessary, or they'll go through.
Okay. But
We don't have
yeah.
any because trying to get in. Don't have any because we last met it June 29th.
Mhm.
So that.
Okay. So we'll go on to the committee chair's report. If you can just let us know if there's anything new that we should be aware of. If you want to share now, or you want to wait for your committee, that's fine. If you don't have anything to say, if you can just let us know when your next committee meeting is, so that when we do our minutes, the public will at least be aware when the next meeting is. So we'll start with going alphabetical.
We, immediately before, we discussed the capital priorities, a little bit of back and forth, and ultimately, I think that, after a few glitches, that the assembled, the consensus was that the capital list was appropriate for Community District 8 for fiscal year 2025, and we will have further discussions to figure out how to deal with the expense priorities.
Thank you, David.
Sure.
And it was a good meeting. We met the other week, and
Yes.
I thought it was a very good meeting. Thank you. Okay,
Thank you.
economic development?
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Madam Chair. A couple of things that we should mention. The Lady Campbell Adams Multi-Level Merchant Award presentation will be on the 12th, next Tuesday. It was reported in the press that it will be on October 3rd at our Economic Development Committee meeting. We have invited the Tree Army to the Economic Development Committee meeting, and they will be there, and we're happy to enact the presentation ceremony for photo opportunities or for people who can attend on the 12th, but I just want the public to know that the presentation ceremony will be on September 12th at 6:30 p.m. Do I have that correct? Yeah, 6:30 p.m., not October 3rd, but you're more than welcome to come to our meeting on October 3rd. It will be at Yucca Bistro, which is right across from the board office. The address is, give me 1 second.
I have it.
Yeah. It is right
Yeah.
It shouldn't be difficult to find, but I want to make sure I give
Turn
the,
left and right when you leave your building.
I want to give the exact address.
5684 Riverdale Avenue.
5684 Riverdale Avenue at 7:30 p.m., not 7:30 p.m., October. The Economic Development Committee meeting, and we will have the Tree Army there as one of our presenters from the local business. Second, I just want to mention that Joy Campbell Privatera has accepted the position of Vice Chair for Economic Development. We're grateful for her to return. She was a vice chair of this committee some time ago. She also served on the nomination committee. She was a board officer at Edwards, so a wealth of experience, so we're grateful that she's back and look forward to working with her. And that's all I have. Next meeting, October 3rd.
Education, Sylvia?
I saw that on the, new calendar that was sent out. My committee meeting, was crossed out because I'm not having one in September. Have we heard back from SCA at all?
No.
So then we wait until October if that happens
When I
at all.
corresponded to her, like I mentioned, it was only if it's time sensitive and if she needed a vote from us, what we need.
Right.
If it's not a time sensitive issue and she doesn't require a vote.
Then we could wait. Right. So my next meeting will be in, the last, Tuesday of, the month in October.
Thank you, Sylvia. Health and Hospital, Rabbi Kaplan.
Sure. It's my new responsibility and honor to do this. I have a long history of organizing in the healthcare field. And our meeting will be on the 13th at 7:30 here in these offices. It will be hybrid. On the agenda for that evening will be three things. One is a presentation by Dr. Nancy Keck, who's the Director of Health and Hospitals for the Borough President's Office, who will go over the Borough President's agenda. Second piece will be a beginning of a discussion of what are the major priorities for this committee and what areas of health and hospital and of social services that people feel are the priorities for Community Board 8 and what we need to dive into, take deeper dives into, and figure out what will be our direction for the next year. And thirdly is identifying hopefully a co-chair for this.
Land use? Chuck?
I had hoped that we could start quietly. That is not going to be the case. We have at least 3 controversial items coming out. Start with them slowly. There are 3 zoning or SNAD applications coming at the same time. So far, 2 of the 3 have real problems. One that doesn't is the one on Gouverneur. So far, no problems have been raised on the SNAD side. Problem on 232nd, and I don't have the address at the moment.
680, I think.
Is there is a restrictive covenant extends throughout much of that area. We've had this same covenant before. Sora Jesselson, who some of you may know or remember, has invoked the covenant on behalf of that group. The architect maintains that the governor Cuomo approved a law that says that if a school is involved, it supersedes the covenant. I've never heard of it. I told him Monday, produce it. So that's number 2. An issue that you'll have to hear them on and decide what you want to do. That one's a stinker. We have in the up-the-hill portion of Riverdale significant number of homes that are served by private sewer corporations. And those sewer corporations substitute for the city. There are no city sewers in that area. The houses were built, a private sewer was formed, and one by one, they were there. Originally, it was in the area, just by way of background, originally many houses, mine included, used to just have a grant to go right into the Hudson River. That was ended about 15, 20 years ago when the people said enough of this nonsense. In any event, Hell Yeshiva, opposite Wave Hill, is proposing to build an extension of its dormitory. And I've told the architect There is a claim by the private sewer organization, which is led by Susan Morgenthau, who is the daughter of the former district attorney, and who's led this thing forever. That she maintains they cannot do another sewer there. The sewer line is overextended, to which she said, however, we can do another engineering study. It will take time, but we can't accommodate the architect on that one, and his response was, we are gonna hook up to the city sewer. There's no city sewer there. Well, this is just a SNAD application. And I have a hunch that in the event the board knows that you aren't getting hooked up to a sewer, they are not gonna let you have a septic tank in the area because it's barred by law in New York City. So that one is he's gotta come back and he's gonna tell me, or try and persuade us that no problem here, technicality, I'm not sure. Then comes the last hot potato. Most of you know, Manhattan College opened its dormitory facility on Waldo over to STAD. After a great deal of negotiation with which Farah and the chair of Familia, I have persuaded Jay Martino and STAG that Martino would come representing STAG to make a report. This is really going to be a hot potato. There are people on Waldo Avenue who are weaponizing their condos and the like to oppose it. They believe that it's going to be a homeless shelter. It's a dormitory now, so in theory at least it lends itself to that kind of a use. I have been working with Martino as late as today to make sure that somebody is there to answer the question. I have a pretty good idea where this thing is headed. And you're going to have two issues sitting around here, in my view. Number one is the same homeless shelter issue we've had elsewhere. Number two, alternative uses. I have one request of you. Homes and landlord-tenant relationships, my extensive experience in that area, second most difficult relationship only to marriage, and maybe more so than marriage. And it incites all sorts of passions. Please hold your fire till you get to hear the facts and see what. Based on today's information, there is no definitive decision on use, although there are explorations going on. Find out more at the meeting. I can't tell you what little I know because it's a public.
Just know one thing, I walked by 680 West 232, and it is a postage stamp. I walked around to look at the yard and all that, because I think the back of it is the Lehman College president's residence. So it's a very small, very similar to the issue at, actually 232 down the hill, where the school.
It seems that perhaps Department of Homeless Services, the single most corrupt agency in the city of New York, and certainly the least competent. Had them here testifying. A few years ago, I examined a woman who was then their deputy commissioner. Very clear, they do not seek places. People come and visit them with a proposal. Many of them accompanied by a Brooklyn lawyer. And this is a fact, this was the testimony. Come accompanied, and they say, we have a place. And then suddenly, they say, okay, it fits our open thing, and no bidding. Nothing happens, it's all done in-house. This one that's just being approved is the brother of the number 2 person in the Department of Homeland Services. They just do what they do. I have personally asked the district attorney to open an investigation of that agency. This stinks. And I've been around local government for 50 years. This one smells to high heaven.
And Chuck, when is your next meeting?
Monday.
Thank you. At 7 or 7:30?
I've been told.
Okay, his next meeting, if anybody wants more information,
At the office.
Flag a nuance for you, because I don't want people to not technically lie, but the other thing that people are looking for now is migrant housing. They may not consider that a shelter, so if you ask about a shelter, they may honestly say no, but they may be looking at it for migrant housing.
so next Monday, 7 p.m. Thank you, Chuck. Thank you, Chuck. Okay, so next one is law, rules,
They
and
are
ethics.
very good when they have.
Marty?
Families especially.
Our meeting, Law, Rules, and Ethics is tomorrow night. I have a rather extensive agenda, which I won't bore you with by going through all now. But I just want to bring two things, or one thing really to your attention. I am grateful to the borough president who came out and we all signed a code of conduct for board members. I've been working on that for a while. A statement on civility, which was part of a statement that came out 5-6 months ago. And looking at a code of conduct, question before us now is whether or not we need a smaller code of conduct when we already have, and have already signed the big one. I'm going to raise that issue tomorrow night. My main concern is the nonsense I read. I shouldn't call it nonsense. The Bronx Times had an article on how other community boards are chaotic, and it could be that they're the trigger that got this code of conduct into place. So a lot of their concerns are both board members and community members. So looking at a code of conduct, which we'll discuss tomorrow night, whether we should have one or not, is also to keep the community involved or of concern for them. Or what I just said may make no sense whatsoever, and we'll find out tomorrow night. Attached to that is a concern which is connected. I have been pushing code of conduct. I've been pushing for a statement on civility, but I've been challenged, and I think appropriately so, that I've never pointed somebody out at a board meeting saying, hey, you're out of line, and maybe a parliamentarian should be doing that. I'm not happy with that situation, but I'm going to raise it tomorrow night, and if anyone has any thoughts on it, I'd be happy to hear. And lots of good stuff tomorrow, including something Kelly brought up, which I think is of concern, in that our transition period just doesn't really seem to work. And if we just met our brand-new board members last night and today, then the whole concept of our changing leadership in June, when new members aren't part of the process until September, if we're lucky, Kelly's concern is well-founded. Transition period in general, from old chairs to new chairs, isn't as formal as it could or should be. That's also an item we'll be bringing up. Yes, sir.
I actually have a question about, you mentioned about when people step over a line. Is that the parliamentarian's responsibility or the chair's responsibility? Because this is as a matter of recourse, because sometimes people do approach that line, sometimes it, and I would find it refreshing to see someone not allowing them to proceed further once they approach that line. So where would that responsibility lie?
Part of the discussion tomorrow night, but certainly you are correct. chair is always in a position to say you're out of order, or you've exceeded your time, or whatever else might be appropriate. The question is, if I've been carrying on as I have been about the question of civility, should I, at some point, if a member of the board has not taken the hint, they should have, the wise parliamentarian step in. It's a position I do not look forward to, but it's something
In an era of intense political toxicity, it might be absolutely necessary.
Okay. I'll watch for that plasticity somewhere, okay?
Don't worry, I'll let the Bronx come out of me. I'll help you.
When I apologize to Laura in advance.
You didn't say me these past 3 years? I was thinking that,
I said in advance, not in retrospect. Each month, I receive, whenever they send it out, Conflict of Interest Board sends a whole lot of details on people who have been caught and fined and sometimes fired for violating conflicts of interest. Get these, I hand them off, I make copies and send it off to committee members. I generally do not fully read them until just before my meeting. So last week, actually Monday, I finally got to reading what's coming up on Thursday, and I found, let me finish, please don't stop me, I found that the Bronx Community Board Chair of 8 had violated conflict of interest and was fined for it. If you want to know exactly what was done, check my committee. So I said to myself, I already sent this out. I should call Laura and give her a heads up. She should know what's going on. Anyhow, I decided to do a little further research, and that Community Board 8 became a 6. So.
Thank you for not calling me.
Thank you, Marty. We'll go on to Parks, Beth.
The next Parks Committee meeting is on Wednesday, September 27th. We don't currently know if ICC will be attending, but they're kind of our main guest. I don't know what I'm hoping for. I think, I'm certainly hoping that if they are going to proceed, that they do come to the meeting so that we can actually get some good information from them. It's a big board. Barring that, then we'll have a discussion on lots of stuff to discuss. One thing I did want to raise, since it won't be, it'll be over by the time we do meet, is that tomorrow, September 6th, from noon to 4 at Fort Playground, there is a school supply giveaway. So there will be live music, inflatables, corn, cotton candy, haircuts, and they're giving away free haircuts, and they're giving away kids, and they're giving away backpacks with notebooks, pencils. It's something that Dairy 9 does every year. It's always a big thing. So I just wanted to get the word out.
It's tomorrow, because September 6th is today.
It was September 6th, so it was.
A good time was had by all.
Thank you, Deb. Okay, we're going public safety, Ed.
Public safety, okay, so our next meeting's gonna be Tuesday, September 19th, 7 PM at the 50th Precinct. But before we have the meeting, I know we have our board meeting coming up, and I'm gonna be bringing up 2 SLAs from the floor due to the timeliness of them. So one of them is gonna be on the Bronx Steakhouse at 222, 224, 238th Street. And the reason that, well, their liquor license has expired already on August 31st, so they expressed concern to us, so we want to get them rolling as quickly as possible. So I'm going to bring that up for a vote at the full board from the floor. And we have another one that I'm going to bring up, which is Downey's. So the story with Downey's is their license is still good, but it's set to expire on September 30th. And, you know, okay, our meeting is the 19th, but we need a full board vote on that, so our full board won't meet till after that, so that has to be brought up from the floor of, and Downey, these have both been good businesses, you know, 50th has looked into these, no issues, as far as I can tell so far. So that's what's coming up with the full board. At our meeting itself, on the 19th, we're gonna have, there's really a lot of, because we had the 2-month break over the summertime, we're gonna have a lot of SLAs. So we're gonna have 11 renewals, a ton for this committee. Not to hope, I'm not trying to scare anybody new who signed up for the committee. But it's very unusual, but we're gonna have 11 renewal applications, 1 corporate change application, and, okay, so here's the biggie. And to me, well, this is a first. So coming to the Public Safety Committee will be, legal cannabis business is gonna be applying for a license. And this is the first of its kind in our community board. And we're gonna have a lot of mixed feelings about this from the community. We've had people come before us about complaining about a lot of the illegal smoke shops and cannabis places we've had. Very, very angry about this type of a thing, but this is a legal business, they're trying to do it the right way. There's gonna be a lot of discussion about this, and I really would not like this to turn into a circus if at all possible. But that's what's coming, and, I don't know if anybody has any opinion on that, but
The opinions are for your committee.
But it's gonna be held at the 5-0, and it will not be hybrid, so you're gonna have a hell of a crowd.
If I may, I believe, and I could be wrong, but it's something you might want to look into, that those licenses have already been approved. They're looking for more or less a certificate from the committee. I think the public should be aware whether your committee or whether we vote to approve or disapprove, in part is symbolic, and that it potentially has already been approved. But again, you should check into that and make sure so that people know, therefore, decision one way or another, it's not saying, well, we are approving or disproving this license, because frankly, we have no say in the matter. I would look into, as I understand the legislation, I would look into that before your meeting so that everybody.
thank you, that's helpful, and we're, you know, I plan on, I guess, speaking with, the Office of Cannabis Management to see if that's indeed the case. The only other thing I'll mention that I think is relevant about this application is, on the application, I mean, because this is all new to everybody here, so I'm trying to just process out myself. They're giving community boards, or the Office of Cannabis Control Board is giving community boards opportunity to express their opinion in writing, email, within 30 days of this date, and then there's another 30-day extension for the municipality or community board to provide their opinion. So if our board wants to collectively express some type of opinion to these authorities about this business, that's our opportunity. So that's, I don't know where anybody even wants to begin with that at some point, so.
It's going to be an interesting meeting, thank you, and it's going to be a decision.
Just quickly, the Office of Cannabis Management is state. Is it going to be a peer of the SLA, State Liquor Authority?
Not that I'm aware of. I think it's a completely separate entity.
No, I know they're separate, but a peer in terms of their functionality, their approval of licenses. They're taking seriously our critiques of the business, you know, before approval, that kind of thing.
To a degree, only time will tell. We're gonna have to get a feel about them to see what the story is, and if what Nick is saying is accurate, that doesn't bode well as far as I'm concerned. You know, if acting in a symbolic fashion, you know, to me, that's kind of depressing, but.
SLA take us seriously?
No.
Well, I got the impression if we were seriously against a renewal, they would seriously consider it.
They did visit our committee, and they did express kind of what David said, so I'm a little bit optimistic about that.
You won't get beat up if what Nick says is true. It's out of your hands.
I have a
Thank
question.
you.
I have a question.
Oh.
Right.
Oh,
Hi guys. We're still here. My question is, you mentioned like a 30-day window. Are we past that window? How far are we from providing a statement as a community board for the application?
Well, I mean, anybody who's read this can correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding of it is, so this application was filed on August 18th. Our community board received it on August 22nd, so that 30-day window either begins on the 18th or the 22nd. I don't know which, but it appears to me there's two different 30-day periods. So there's a 30-day period to express your opinion, our opinion, to the Cannabis Control Board, and then there's a second paragraph that states there's a one-time 30-day extension for the board. So unless I'm reading this wrong, it seems like there's an extended period if we want to extend, because it's same address, so.
No. Right, can we just respond in that we were not even in session and that 30-day needs to start from when the community board is in session?
You receive it.
When we receive it.
That's not right, that's not right. So if somebody's on vacation and they got a letter, right, like, I don't know, like, it's, I don't think that's fair. I don't think it's fair for the community board to have to respond when they're not even in session. I don't know how that gets handled, but
SLA is when you receive it in the office, so we'll look into that, and when he has.
It's several days either way. I agree, it's probably the 22nd.
Yeah, when the office receives it, but that's a lot for the committee, so we're gonna just move it on, and you have a lot of work to do. We'll help you. Thank you. Okay, traffic and transportation is next. Kelly?
Sure, thank you. I'll be very brief. I refer everyone to the minutes of the June meeting. Our next meeting is September 21 at 7 o'clock. It is here at the board office. Committee members, please do your best to show up in person so we can achieve quorum, as the hybrid individuals do not count towards quorum and no business can be conducted. Also, at that meeting, the primary focus will be, DOT has put together their final plan for the city bike rollout within the district, so they are going to be at the meeting presenting that to the community. And the only other item of note I have is that I did receive notice, actually yesterday, that DOT is going to be installing a new traffic light at the intersection of Reservoir Avenue and Webb Avenue, and they plan to install that by December 31 of this year. And that's all I have to report.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you. Okay, you, Julia?
My meeting's September 18th. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, at 7:30.
Here?
Yeah.
Okay, then we'll go to special committees. Bob Benzer with the Hudson River Greenway Special Committee.
We don't have a date for a meeting, but over the summer I did attend, in fact, just a couple of weeks ago, I attended a DEC meeting in the South Bronx about the Environmental Bond Act and how that money is being allocated. And I'm still processing the information, following up on some of what I learned at that meeting. So I'm hopeful that that might be a source of funding for some of the work that we need to do on the Greenway. But that's all I have to report at this point, and it's still interim. So we have no date for meeting yet. I'll let everybody know when I think it makes sense to have one.
Okay, great, thank you, Bob. We'll go with SCREE. Margaret?
Hi, good evening. Sorry for the background noise. Hopefully you can hear me all right. For the SCREE meeting, we're meeting next on October 5th at 7 p.m., location to be determined. And I just wanted to reach out to new board members, existing board members, and this is a special committee that doesn't meet every month. We will meet 4 times a year. And last year we really focused on women's health, especially Black and Brown women, their health and access to healthcare services. and the disproportionate impact of negative services and negative experiences within the healthcare system and how that impacts people's day-to-day lives. That was a common conversation that we discussed throughout the spring, and I think we brought some really great presenters and gave some really great information to the community. We also, I think we're, you know, for the last 2 years, my God, perfect timing. Sorry if you can't hear me through this beep, but we focused on bringing equity into the conversation around the budget and how we're making decisions within the community on capital and expenses. And we also have been tracking all of the important areas that each standing committee has been working on in terms of improving equity within the district. So we really want additional voices, additional viewpoints to help us track all of the things that we do in the community, and then also inform all of the various pieces within the community that can improve equity and access and capture them in a way that we have our interim report every May. Hopefully you caught some of that in all the background, but okay, good. Okay, thank God. But we really want members. As you know, this is talking about equity and raising matters that are important in the community takes many voices, and it also takes continuity over years. So we have a number of people who have been involved since 2020 when we started this committee. And we also want to be sure that as life happens, as people take on additional responsibilities in their jobs or have things change in their life, that we have continuity, enthusiasm, and engagement across the board. So we really would love new members. Next meeting is October 5th. It's a Thursday. We usually do the first Thursday when we have it at 7 p.m. And please reach out to me if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Margaret. The Veterans Committee, Sergio is not here, so we'll hear from him at the board meeting. And that's it. What's next? No. That's it. And his report. Question for, turn it over to you.
Oh, okay.
You want item number 9. please.
Yeah, try not to be too redundant to my report before. We are in fiscal year 2024, 2 months in. We collected over this past winter the committee ideas of budget priorities for capital and expense budgets. We reviewed them in the beginning of the summer and again last week with Julie, and then we had our budget committee meeting just before. We will be, we took care of the capital part. We'll try to figure out what to do about the expense part since we ran out of time. And then we will bring those, I will bring those to the budget hearing that precedes the October board meeting for the community to make their comments. And I'm sorry, in between, Farah and various chairs may be attending the borough budget consultations with the respective agencies to talk about their focus relative to the whole borough. And we'll take that into consideration. And this is also an opportunity for us to lobby a bit with the agencies, particularly if they hear it from 7 community boards that, you know, such and such needs to be taken care of. So we will be doing that in the next 3 weeks, and then the October budget hearing. I'll start my pitch now. Come December, advise your committee members to start thinking about ideas for fiscal year 2026 that you should formally discuss in January and February, and actually committing them to paper, so to speak, or, you know, either literally or figuratively if you want to use it on the screen there. But you should have lists in February. We have had a problem in the past where some folks, some chairs have, you know, let it slide till April 12th. Need to get it to, commit it to, some formal thing, paper or, you know, word processing or an Excel spreadsheet, in February. And then in March, you should be prioritizing those, requests, provisionally. And in April, you should be voting on them and then getting them back to me and to the office, by about the 20th of April. If you happen to be a committee that meets on the 20th or 21st or something or other, talk to me, we'll take care of it. But it is important that you, vote. You're not required to vote on it, but I recommend you vote, have your committee vote on those priorities and get them to us, by, about April 20th. I'll get you a hard date, after New Year's.
Thank you, David.
One quick question. Capital commitment plan for the.
I don't think we have, have we? I haven't seen it. But we'll be meeting with Parks next week, right? I think it's a Friday a week. This Friday?
It's a
Okay.
Friday. I know the date was changed so many times.
Oh, okay, right. Yes, this Friday, excuse me,
Friday,
yes.
and then next Monday is the Borough White.
Thank you, David.
Sure.
Okay, now we're, item number 10, we're almost finished. Thank you for being patient. Future meetings, it will not be this long. Okay, no. No, it won't be.
I first you just say under the meeting.
Okay, but now it's the new board members. I invited the new board members so that instead of, I remember being new and so many people were there and you just don't know what's going on. So I figured give them a little taste and then next week, it'll be a little better.
Did you tell me a quiz after this meeting?
Or they gotta stand up and sing?
So I invite the new members. We have two on the screen, Jessica and Mary Ellen, and then we have Oscar and Joy. So does anyone have any comments or questions? You have experienced chairs here. Go at them.
Wait.
Walk that back a little bit.
Well, your hand.
Your hand.
Remember, carry a knife.
Okay, Oscar?
I heard a number of you say that we don't vote. What does that mean?
That's at the executive meeting. The executive meeting is basically the officers, the chair, the vice chair, the treasurer, and the secretary. The treasurer is Scott with the white shirt, and the secretary is Margaret to the right. Those are the officers. And then we have the chairs. At the executive committee, we don't vote. Years ago, we used to vote for resolutions to pass it along to the general board. I'll let Marty go.
Committees come up with their resolutions and their thoughts, and the chairs bring them before us, and we vet it. In the sense that makes a lot of sense, go with it, or maybe you didn't think about certain things, maybe you ought to go back to committee. So rather than go before the full board and have it defeated, it'd be great to have someone to talk to and say, what do you think of this resolution? And that's what we do. We don't pass or fail or anything, just pass it along. It's the board that makes all the decisions.
Like, as example, he's gonna come back probably like crazy next month with that marijuana one. What they call cannabis. You know, and for discussions and ideas, but the board has to say whether they approve or disapprove whatever they come up with.
Okay, follow-up question to that. A full board.
Oh, yeah.
But not in this room.
That's the meeting next week, that's at Fieldston.
Okay.
35 or 40 of us.
All committee members, all board members.
The full board.
Full board.
It's close to 50 board members, I think.
Uh-huh.
It'll be close to 50 board members, and we usually meet the second Tuesday of the month. The executive The executive meets the first Wednesday, and the executive is basically the chairs of those committees. And then every committee has hopefully a lot of members, and it's important to come to the meeting so that they can pass resolutions, because without a quorum, you have to have 51%, over 50% of the committee members, correct me, Marty, in order for a vote to take place, and it's important for the votes to take place.
The committees you signed up for, those are the meetings you'll be going to, plus the full board meeting.
That's where you'll have most of the discussions in the committees. Like next week, it's a general board meeting where they'll go more into detail on their reports, but not too much, because now we have a 3-minute cap for committee chairs to speak. You know, but you'll get more information at the general
Julie,
board
I'd just
meeting.
like to add that you can go to any meeting you want, but the meetings that you signed up for, those are the meetings you vote on, but you couldn't go to any meeting you want to go to.
Just goes to most of them.
Yeah.
If I may, also, the committee meetings is where we encourage the community members to show up and talk about the committee's topic. Okay, they can't vote, but except for the gallery immediately preceding the board meeting, the community members cannot speak at a board meeting. They can have their 3 minutes. There's 5 sessions that slots we have for that. So,
And we're gonna have continued training with the new members as well. You know, it's a lot. Laura gave me good advice when I first joined. I said, so she said, just go to all the committee meetings that you can, because then you'll see the members. On Zoom, you don't, but when it's live, when you go to as many meetings, and I was a member of the libraries, and I never showed up for like 4 meetings. She kept calling me. But go to the meetings and you'll meet and you'll get a lot of.
Canceled your card.
but also your friends and neighbors who are very interested in topic X, encourage them to go to the committee meetings, all right? There's a tendency to say, gee, I'll just go to the community board meeting and I'll be able to raise my topic. You really can't, but at the committee meetings, they can.
Joy, do you have any questions or comments?
It feels like Dorothy, I went from black and white to Technicolor.
Welcome back.
So different from Zoom.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
It's alive, you know, and, so I'm just happy to be back. A bad penny. And I was remiss, I should have thanked Laura and Kira, who I had the chance to see yesterday. Your support and encouragement of me, is not used through, I was able to get at that point. So I'm refreshed and really enthusiastic about being back. And you're back.
Okay, we have Jessica's hands up. Hey, Jessica.
Yeah, hello, and thank you for inviting the newbies to join, because I have to say I was a little overwhelmed with participating, especially because like there are so many rules. Like I've been to public hearings before, and there's different ways of how you can motion for certain things, right? That isn't taught in our school system at all, right? So when we think about wanting to build more like model citizens, we don't think about the fact that if we want model citizens, we want them to participate, they need to know Robert's rules, right? Or they need to know, how these meetings are conducted, and so that's really my biggest thing. So I'm looking forward to some training on that. I don't know if that's coming, right? It's kind of unfortunate because I would have liked to that happen in the summer, so then I can come and start, now that community boards are in session, can start with a leg up. I do feel a little behind, and a lot of meetings are happening literally just next week, as today. So, I'm just waiting to learn from all of you, right? I do feel like, I don't know, I feel like one of the younger generation people in the room. So I do. No offense. No offense. What I'm saying is I look forward to learning from everyone with regards to what has worked and what hasn't worked, and to see if there are some more modern resolutions that can resolve some of the things that haven't worked, and that we continue to open that up in all the committees, right? Where it's just is there something we're not thinking about, not because it's so new. Even me, I feel I'm a millennial, and the millennials are coming behind, just killing me and making me feel like I'm aging myself, right? Just with the exponential technology available. So all in all, thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward to learning a lot and doing my best and, sharing my voice.
Thank you, Jessica. And Marty is our Law, Rules, and Ethics Chair, so I'm sure you'll learn a lot about the Roberts Rules. And the support, this is like my first live meeting as chair, and if it wasn't for the support of so many people in this room, it's incredible. You will get the support. We'll get it.
Thank
I
you.
do want to say, Jessica, you're like very enthusiastic because you signed up for like 8 or 9 committees to start. But we narrowed her down to 2. Then you can add on as you.
I think it's 3 because I want to learn the rules and then yes, housing and land. Yeah.
Yes, I'll reach out to you to make sure I have all 3. Okay.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Jessica. Mary Ellen.
Hi, I have to go and joke. I go, well, I'm gonna wake up tomorrow. I'm gonna say, boy, that was some dream. I got on the community board finally. But I think it was really good for me that I was on traffic and transportation for a while and then public safety. So I did really learn a lot, because when you first come in, you're like, wow, what's all this, but I attended a lot of meetings, so I'm really looking forward to being on the board and learning some more about everything else. So thank you so much, and see you next week.
We'll see you next week, 6:30. Okay. Thank you all. So now we're going to go to unfinished business. The unfinished business. Okay, we'll go on to new business. Sergio Villaverde, is he still not here? No. So he was going to address the committee, so he's not here, so I guess next time. Any other, well, I have a new business. I forgot to mention that at the next meeting, we will be voting for 3 chairs: aging, environment, sanitation, and housing. You could, a new member, a seasoned member, that position is open to all. Any takers, please step on up.
When you say next meeting, define next
The general
meeting. The general meeting
board
next
meeting.
week, or the meeting in
Next week.
October?
The general board meeting next week. Okay, and
So they can let you know if they're interested,
mhm,
or they can be nominated or self-nominated from the floor.
mhm, yes.
And then a vote takes place.
Yeah, and it is on the notice. It was placed on the notice that we will be voting for those positions.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I have one, I guess, clean business. I've mentioned it before in passing, but I do respectfully ask that we maybe revisit this decision of what time we have these meetings. I will never make a 6:30 meeting. Never gonna happen. I work on 26th Street. And so, since we have to physically be in the rooms now, maybe we start thinking about moving it back, because they used to be 7:30, right? All the meetings were 7:30 or 7?
7:30.
Yeah, because I haven't had dinner yet.
6:30 is usually like for budget or the awards. We
Right,
rarely
even
ever meet.
7 o'clock is tight, like, again, for me, I don't always get home before 6:30.
Yeah.
So to get to a meeting at 7, I'm not eating, I'm not changing, I don't get to stop at home, and I don't think, I think if anyone else has to be back in the office, it can be very tight to get to even a 7 o'clock meeting. I don't have a partner or kids that live with me, so I think it's for the public and for others, if we're gonna be physically in person again, we might need to reevaluate.
So one reason that I like a 7 o'clock is because 30 minutes by our bylaws has to go to the public for the gallery session. So you kind of have a grace period between 7 and 7. It's nice to be there for the gallery session. I mean, they take their time, they come and they speak to us. But if you're pressed, you have a little bit of leeway. And then the places that we go to, we have to be out by a certain hour. And if we start our meeting at 7:30, which I am totally against, because you start at 7:30, the gallery finishes at 8, and then 2 hours later, it's 10. Most places you have to be out by 9:30. You know, so that's why.
I'm just always gonna be late, I apologize
okay, as
in
long
advance
as you
because
get
it's
there.
just, I'm not gonna be,
As
well,
long as you get there.
I feel poorly, I don't want people to think I'm disrespecting
no,
their
no.
time or what they're saying, because like in this space,
Yeah.
when you come in late, everybody goes, and you're inconvenient, everybody had to move so I could sit down, so, you know, it's, I hear you and I understand, I just, you know.
But you could also do hybrid till you get here, like on your phone or something if you wanted to. Or you could call in, yeah, you could do that so that you're still here. Oh, she can't do that?
I think you're.
That's right, if it's too logical, it can't work.
I consider the whole concept of hybrid to be a Trojan horse.
Okay.
We didn't need, before there was COVID, there was attendance, and if you didn't come, you weren't here.
So forget
And
the
so
hybrid.
now we have extraordinary circumstances, which we have difficulty defining, and so we should not be willy-nilly, you know, if you're on the moon, let us know, but when you get here, you count.
I stand corrected, wait, hold on 1 second, please. Then you can call in or go on Zoom, but not on hybrid, and when you get here, you'll be marked present. She could do that, right?
Do that?
Yeah, that's all. At least you won't miss the meeting, because we really do have to be out by certain hours some places.
No, I mean, and I hear that for like the full board, especially with,
Yeah.
like, even for these meetings,
Yeah.
starting at 7, I'm probably going to be late every time.
Yeah, like more than 15 minutes?
And tonight, I only made it because I had travel time and I was already home, but I had to work till 6. When those nights happen, I might not make the meeting at all, at that point. But, like I said, I think if you work until 5
So how about we put it on the next month's agenda that we'll take, can we vote on that at exec?
Hold on, what?
I don't think
Change the time.
Not a vote.
Okay.
It's a consensus, it's not as important.
Right.
I mean, roll call could be at 7:30.
Yeah.
And, you know, if the DM or the chair are in the midst of making their report between 7:10 and 7:30,
Yeah.
I don't think it would be considered a failure. Now, I mean, the roll call purpose really is for voting, right? So if we have roll call at 7:30 rather than 7:05 or 7:15.
My committee was meeting at 7 o'clock via Zoom. Okay, when we switched, I asked my committee members, is 7 o'clock still convenient? And one member said, he'll never make it on time. So we changed to 7:30. Didn't take a vote, we just did it.
Okay, so let's take an opinion, because I can't see changing it for one person if more people are accustomed.
No,
But she's not the only one.
she's not
No, that's what I'm saying, we're gonna take a poll. It's not a vote, we'll take a poll.
You wanna send a poll around to the board?
Yeah, no, so
No,
you're talking about
I think
exec,
it was-
right?
I think it was, what Marty indicated was that it should be done committee by committee basis.
No, I'm talking about exec. I'm
Exec
talking about
committee.
exec. I'm talking about exec right now. I'll send an email, or could it be an email, or could we, because not everyone is here.
It's a consensus she's talking about.
Next meeting, I just wanted to put it back kind of on the table.
Mhm.
I had mentioned this when we started kind of, when these discussions, that when we were on lockdown, yeah, I could be on any meeting, 5:01, sure, no problem, let's go. But now, and I don't think I'm the only one with a commute, and then family or eating or,
Technically, you can have a poll.
Okay,
It's
let's
not
do
a
a poll
meeting.
now. Let's do a poll now.
You can do it, well, whoever's not here either, do a poll, so long as we're not voting in public, there's no vote, you're collecting the information, and you'll decide based upon what you receive.
Right.
Okay.
You can use your discretion.
Julie, I'm the only committee that has never changed it from 7:30.
But I'm talking about exec.
That is
Exec, for exec only for us, for exec. How many, and we're not changing it tonight, I just want to get a feel, because there's other people who are not here. How many people would like to keep it at 7? Thank you, at 7.
Am I allowed to chime in? It's just, my day never ends. I go straight.
Okay, thank you. And how many people want to change it to 7:30? 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you. Oh, no, this is for chair.
I have a question.
That's so good. Okay, so 3 people want 7. if you come in late, we won't boo you, okay?
Sorry, I have a question. I have a question.
Okay, and, just on a personal note, I just want to thank all of you for your support. All of you have been tremendous, thank you. And for those who I haven't really spoken to, there's only two, I look forward to speaking with you. But thank you all. Any other new business?
Jessica has her hand raised.
Yeah, I have a question. Hi, because I do want to agree that hybrid is such a move, right? It allows people to just be present, like in the conversation longer versus commuting to yet another place. So, you know, I don't know if the vote needs to be 7 or 7:30, or whether or not hybrid is an option, right? Like, and
No,
can be an option.
The vote was just for the executive committee, just for the
No.
chairs of committees.
I
It wouldn't
understand.
affect it.
I understand, but I guess my concern in general is, you know, in person versus online, right? Versus hybrid. Like, is there a blanket rule that we're going in person now this year? Like how? Okay.
Yes, you must, and I'll let Marty go to his meeting. Are you discussing hybrid?
Good idea.
Go to the law, rules and ethics, and we'll also
Tomorrow.
we'll also send you information on hybrid procedures. The board members must attend in person unless you have an extraordinary circumstances. And in order to get approval for that, you have to write in your request to the chair or the chair of the committee.
In an
Okay,
email.
And get written approval.
And get written approval. You have
In
to
an
request it,
an email.
yes, an email.
Okay.
There's gonna be orientation for new members with.
I mentioned that.
Yeah, I was looking for the email for that. I have not seen an email for an orientation, and meetings are already happening, so I was extremely overwhelmed. So I don't even know when orientation is happening.
We need to define our terms, and we're throwing around hybrid too often. Let's know what it means in this context. Doesn't deal with cars and engines
I
and whatever.
stand corrected,
Okay.
sorry.
So, we are required under the open meetings law from the state to have in-person meetings. In this last renewal of OML, they put in this nonsense about hybrid. Now, let's take three categories. One, we all meet in person, end of discussion. B, we decided to teleconference every one of our meetings if possible. So if we're in a facility where that is available, the chair can choose to do telecommunication or not. Right now, you're in telecommunication. If, and under the law, there must, in order for a meeting to officially take place, there must be a majority, you must have more than half of the members of the committee present to define a quorum. If someone requests extraordinary circumstances, then, and gets approved, that becomes a hybrid meeting at that point. If everyone is here, it's just telecommunications. If someone requests a telecommunication and the chair thinks the reason is reasonable, to the chair to decide. If the chair says no, then there's no hybrid meeting. If the chair says yes, then you can participate through telecommunication as a hybrid meeting. But all meetings aren't hybrid just because we're telecommunicating.
The bottom line, come in person or email the chair or the committee chair if you're eligible. And we'll send you the email and you'll attend the Law, Rules, and Ethics Committee.
Okay.
Okay?
I think it'll just take
Any other
practice. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, thank you, and thank you, everybody.
Thank you. All in favor?
I got a motion you just said.